Hi, Miss Eglin here. Today we will be starting collection 2, and our objectives are we want to understand plot and setting, understand conflict, and understand suspense and foreshadowing. So we are going to read the literary focus, What are plot and setting? This is on pages 130 to 131 in the textbook. You've heard the expression, the plot thickens. Like cooks who add delicious ingredients to soup or salsa, authors use intriguing tools to make their stories more compelling. Suspense that keeps us on the edge of our seats, foreshadowing that gives us clues to what might happen, and complicated plots with twists and turns. Authors thicken the plot, the happening, so we can taste or experience the story more fully. Plot. The plot is the story's skeleton. It is a series of related events growing out of one another. Most plots consist of 4 parts. Number 1, basic situation. You meet the main characters and discover what they want. You find out about the conflict that drives the story. Conflict is a struggle between 2 opposing characters, forces, or emotions. An external conflict involves a character's struggle with another person or a force of nature, a tornado, a bear, or an icy path. Rikki Tikki had never met a live cobra before. He knew that all a grown mungoose's business in life was to fight and eat snakes. From Rikki Tikki Tavi by Rudyard Kipling. An internal conflict takes place within a character's mind, such as a struggle of conscience. She saw herself 3 years later marching for graduation, everyone taking photos, smiling, everyone happy, except she wouldn't be because she remembered having cheated that time back in 9th grade. From the Dive by Renee Saldana Jr. 2. Series of events. One or more of the characters in a story act to resolve the conflict. A series of events called complications take place that make it hard for the character to get what he or she wants. Just then the wind rose and the Cornelius DeWitt changed course, leaned to port, and headed straight for us once more. From 3 Skeleton Key. 3. Climax. This is the point at which the conflict is decided one way or another. Resolution. The resolution is the last part of the story where loose ends are tied up. Melly could smell the sweetness of the flowers and herbs wafting from across the street. She smiled, closed her eyes, and slept. From the Dive. 2 other important elements of plot. Suspense. The element of a plot often creates suspense. The events of a plot often create suspense or anxious curiosity that make us eager to find out what happens next. Suspense usually begins to build as soon as a conflict begins. Teddy shouted to the house, "Oh, look here, our mongoose is killing a snake." And Rikki Tikki heard a scream from Teddy's mother. Foreshadowing. Sometimes suspense is increased by hints or clues about what will happen later. The use of such hints or clues is called foreshadowing. For example, a character about to dive into the ocean may hear someone remark that sharks were once sighted near the shore. As you read, you suspect the sharks will appear again, and you feel that tingle of fear and excitement that keeps you turning the pages. 3 Skeleton Key earned its name from the story of 3 convicts who, after escaping from Cayenne in a stolen dugout cayuse, were wrecked on the rock during the night, managed to escape the sea, but eventually died of hunger and thirst. From 3 Skeleton Key. Setting. The setting of the story is the time and place in which the events take place. It can be the real world or a place that has never existed. If a setting is well described, the writer has succeeded in helping you feel that you, quote unquote, you are there. Your turn. Analyze plot and setting. What is the difference between an internal conflict and an external conflict? 2. Look at the excerpts from 3 Skeleton Key on this pages. How do the details in these passages build suspense? 3. Think about a movie, television show, or story you know well. Test your knowledge of its plot by recording the main events of the story. Note instances in which the story's plot is affected by the setting.